Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you. Depends on the location and the time that you're watching these videos. My name is Behshad Sabah. This is the video number 4 from a series of my job hunt workshop presentation. The last video, because of a technical problem, was cut. So I'm going to continue from the point that the video was interrupted. So we talk about all these things in the first 3 videos. And if you watched the third video, you notice that we are talking, I'm talking with Brad Law in a company. And we came to the point that we reviewed the worst case scenario, which we received 3 no's in a row from Brad. And now I'm talking about the best case scenario. I called Brad, he picked the phone. I asked him if he has time to talk for a minute. Chemical industries, for example, petrochemicals or refineries or rubber and plastic or whatever that they work in companies like Shell, Total, Sasol or something like that. And I talked about my soft skills. Then I said, it's good, but it's not complete. So how we can improve our elevator talk. Then I said, people will listen to us for 2 reasons. Either they have to listen to us or they are curious. When I'm talking over the phone with Brad, he doesn't have to talk to me. He can hang up and walk away. So how can I make Brad curious to continue with me? The way that I can do it is if I mention some of my achievements and values with dollar number or percentage that I have done with my previous employers. Like if I say in my last job, I could save $3 million for my employer, or I could improve the production by 1.5%, which represents, you know, as a 400,000 extra production with no more capital cost or something like that. So my elevator talk would be, I am ABC, I'm a chemical engineer, 15 years experience in rubber and plastic business like Michelin, Firestone, Sasol. I'm a team player, minimum supervision needed, a detail-oriented engineer. Based on my work from my last employer, I could save $4 million in cost, or I could increase the production by 2%, which is equal to $1 million extra production with no more capital cost. And then if I am inside the elevator talking to that person, I stop after I said my value and let that person to ask me the question. But over the phone, I don't do that. When I told my elevator talk plus value to Brad, I continue that, Brad, I look at your profile at LinkedIn, and I'm very impressed with the expertise and experience that you have in this field. I want to know if I can get some of your time as an information session to learn from you. How can I set up my career in Canada? Please pay attention. I didn't ask for a job. I didn't say that, oh, do you hire now or will you hire in the future or something like that. I said, I need your advice to learn from your expertise and experience. How can I set up my career in Canada? Some people say, oh, we already had a job in Canada, so what should we say? If you already had a job and you lost it and you want to get another job in that field, you can say, Brad, I need your help, your expertise, your knowledge, your experience to learn how can I reestablish my career in Canada. It means I already had some establishments, but I lost it. Now I want to reestablish my career in Canada. So when you say that, there are 2 ways that Brad will answer that. Either he says, well, that's a good time, let's talk, or I'm free after 5 o'clock, you can call my cell phone and we can talk, Or if the corona is gone, hopefully one day we can set a coffee meeting, pick a coffee shop close to his location or her location, go there and have a face-to-face chat with Brad or your future boss or whatever. Or Brad would say, you know what, after the work, I'm totally busy. I have to go pick up my kids from school or whatever. I have to do a lot of things. So I don't have time for the information session. That's fair and square. Then I would say, yes, Brad, thank you very much. I understand that. What if I send you my resume and you look at it and give me some feedback? Again, I don't say I send my resume to you to hire me. I would say I will send my resume to you so you can give me some feedback. Again, Brad can say two things. Either he would say, you know what, I have been in this position for 30 years. I only prepared the resume once in my life. I have no knowledge to give to you regarding resume, so don't waste your time and my time. That's one reaction. The other reaction would be, Brad would say, I can do that. This is my email address. Send me a resume. I will look at it. When you prepare that email to send it to Brad, you will thank for his time and his expertise and stuff, and then you attach your resume. At the bottom of your email, you would write down, Brad, attaches my resume. I will call you back in next 2 weeks to follow up. Okay, never ever you say, this is my resume, at your earliest convenience, please come back to me, because Brad is too busy to come back to you, to come back to me. Okay, so never leave the power in the hands of Brad. So at the bottom of your email, you write down, I will call you back in next 2 weeks to follow up, something like that. Okay, so you keep the power in your side. So, and then after that, we ask the next question. I ask the next question from Brad. I would say, hey, Brad, is there any place that people like you, professionals like you, do the networking, any association, society, any groups of people? What do you do to the network, in your professional life? Again, several different answers. Brad would say, I don't know, I don't go there. I don't know any groups that you can do the network. Or he would say, yeah, I know there is a group of, XYZ association, but I don't go there. Or he would say, yeah, there's a XYZ association. I am a member. I go once a month or every other month. And then you can ask a lot of questions about that. Or what kind of group, how many people will come for every meeting? Are the meetings online or face-to-face? And what happens in the meeting? Do you have like a soft drink and appetizer, or you have the full course dinner? Is there any technical talk? So, and then after that, I will ask Brad, Brad, do you mind if I connect you through the LinkedIn, if I haven't done it all? Everybody says that's okay. Go and send me a request. And then I will ask Brad, hey, Brad, if I found a person in your contacts which might be suitable for me to learn from, do you mind if I ask you to introduce me to that person? So we try to use Brad's network and add it to our network. Okay, so that would be the last question that I asked from Brad. So we ask Brad about information session, resume review, where to network and expand our network through his network. We didn't talk about if they are hiring somebody, if they will hire somebody, but sometimes during the conversation with Brad, Brad will ask us, Brad would say, are you looking for a job? That's a very tough question to answer. My recommendation is you would say, yes, but at this moment, I prefer to learn from you how to set up my career in Canada instead of just asking for the job. I value your time not because of the job. I value your time because I'm planning my future based on the knowledge that you have and the questions that I have for you and the answers that you give me. We can always say, oh, well, I know I check your website, there is nothing there, so I'm just trying to gain information to help me to establish my career in Canada, something like that. So try to maneuver around that question. Do not say, yes, I want the job. Do you have something or not? You know, don't put Brad in this position. So, but whatever that I said was a part of a story from our side. Let's look at the other side and what happens if what happens when we call Brad. When Brad comes to work on Tuesday morning at 9 a.m., he doesn't know us. He doesn't know that he's going to have a conversation with us. So he's not prepared. The first and the most important question that comes to his mind is, where did you get my number from, right? How did you get my number? Always be honest. Tell Brad anything which is truth. You know, I got your number from Google. I got your number from Scott Business Directory. I got your number from PO website. So just make sure that you're honest, you give the right answer. Then be prepared for a phone interview, because a lot of times Brad, as my future boss, will start asking questions. You know, can you tell me more about your experience that in Michelin company, or inside Sasol refinery, or in Firestone plant? What did you do? What was your responsibilities? So be prepared for a phone interview. How you can be prepared for the phone interview? Practice in front of the mirror. Okay, so we will talk more about it during the interview part of these videos, but be ready and practice in front of the mirror. Try to talk about what makes you unique. You know, being an engineer is not unique in Canada anymore. You know, there are a lot of engineers coming here looking for the job. So don't focus on the common things like being an engineer. Focus on your achievement, focus on your values, what you have done, how much cost saving, how much improvement in process, any initiation that you had, any initiatives that you had on the environment, safety, you know, bring them up. Talk about those unique items that you have done and the values and achievements. What type of presentation do you need? Every time that you are presenting yourself, your company, your background, even in your social life, you are presenting yourself to the other party, focus on the values that you have. What do you bring to the table? You know, you can go on and on and on and on and talk about yourself, which after 10, 15, 20 seconds, nobody cares anymore. Okay, instead of talking a lot about yourself, talk about your values, your achievements, your success stories, and be ready to hear no, because how many times you have heard no? You know, probably in your life you have heard it 2,000 times, 10,000 times, I don't know. You are going to hear no probably 500 times more. So who cares? Be prepared to hear no. When you call somebody and that person is not available, do not leave a message, okay? Leave a message for any reason. If you have to, and I say have to, if you must leave a message, you would say, Brad, I called you to talk to you about a business matter or networking project or whatever, and I will call you back. I will call you back next week. I will call you back after 2 weeks or something like that. But do not leave a message and say, oh, this is Brad, this is ABC, call me back when you have time. Brad is not going to call you back, okay? And if you call Brad 2-3 times, he didn't pick up in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, just cross the number and move to the next person, okay? So do not stuck yourself with one person for 6 months. Try that number 2-3 times, 4 times in 2 weeks. If nobody picked the phone, move to the next person, okay? So this is enough for the This is enough for the cold call. Now let's talk about resume tips a little bit. I'm not going to go deep into the resume, but I give you some information, and then we continue in the next video. We continue with the networking and stuff. So resume. The resume has two parts. One part of resume is the form, the type, and the other part is the content. There are two common types of resumes in the market. One of them is chronological, based on the time. You start from the last job that you had and you go down to the first job that you had. That's time-based. The other one is skill-based, which means no matter which company you work for, you keep your skills on the first page, and on the second page, probably at the bottom, you write down the name of companies that you work for. Why we do that? A lot of people have work experience back home related to their education. Then they come to Canada, and for a period of time, 3 years, 4 years, sometimes even longer, they work in a different industry. Now they want to come back to the original industry that they have some experience back home related to their education. If they make that resume and the last job is not related to, for example, engineering, and it took them for 4 years or 5 years there, then that will be a big red flag for the company who wants to hire them. So what they should do, they go to the skill-based resume. So which means instead of introducing their last job, they introduce all the skills that they have from back home and from their with a small font in the second page, they write down the name of companies that they work. So technically, the recruiter or the company will not notice what happened in the last 4 or 5 years, right? But if your job was related to the job that you are applying right now, you go based on the time-based resume format. So these are two types. There are so many resume books that you can get from different libraries, and the library that I showed you, and you can prepare your resume. A lot of samples are available in the Google. Look at them, learn from them, and then use them. But let's come back to these tips. Number one, resume name. When you want to pick a name for your resume, always make it with your first name, last name, the position that you apply for, and the last time that resume was updated. So your name is, for example, it would be Brad Law, Plant Manager, January 2022. Or Brad Law, Process Engineer, February 2020, or something like that. So first, last name, position, and the updated time. In your resume, don't use the word experienced. Instead of experience, use expert, excel, and excellent. What's the meaning of experience? Experience means you have done something for 15 years. You didn't kill anybody. You didn't kill yourself. It doesn't mean that you have done a great job. Expert means that you know everything about that position, about that work, and you are updated with the latest technology, latest equipment, latest tools, okay? So instead of experience, use expert, excel, and or excellent. If there is any item, any keyword, any subject in the job post that you don't know anything about, for example, SAP, CRM, a lot of softwares, or any techniques, you have no idea about them, right? You go to the Google and search that keyword or YouTube and watch some videos on that regard, like a self-taught process, right? And in your resume, you will write down familiar with SAP, familiar with AutoCAD, familiar with CRM, whatever. The reason is a lot of these companies, they filter their resume with softwares. and keywords. So if you have the best possible resume, but you don't have the keywords which are important for the company, the software will not shortlist your resume. Okay? So by this way, you add the keyword to your resume, and in the interview day, when they ask you, what do you mean by familiar with SAP? You would say, well, I have done some self-taught trainings and education courses online, and I'm a fast learner. So as soon as you hire me and I start working with SAP in real life or with CRM in real life, I will be the master of the SAP, right? So at least by adding this line, you can get the job that you want. The next item is value in each job box. Let me open a sample of a resume book, and I tell you exactly what the job box means. In the time-based type of resume, when you write down your last work, the company name, the your position, the time that you start, the time that you finish, and below that you will start typing some job description that, okay, in this company I did this, I did that, and I call that the job box. Okay, let's look at a book. The gallery of best resumes is about 433 pages, and it covers a lot of sample of resume in the market. For example, let's look at this resume. That's a time base, which means this person started from the last job that he had or she had, Edward, he had, and then here he explained the responsibilities that he had. So the point is, we should add one line to our resume, especially the first or the second one. And in that line, very briefly show our value. Like Edward could say that he has been director online development and corporate planning. He could say, based on my initiative, I could save $3 million in my division, or I could improve the planning by 4% per year, which translates to $2 million. Top line means extra sales, or $2 million bottom line, which means the cost saving. So my recommendation is for every single job box, which means every title and every company, you have to have one value. So it means another value here. If you go to the next, this is the skill base. If we go to this one, another value here between 2001 and 2002, Michelle can add value here. So I think that's 8% value here. So add the value to the job box, and then check the verbs, because a lot of time we copy paste from different job posts and we forget to check the verbs. Make sure that the verbs are in the right format. Always be careful about the Oxford comma. If we add 3 items together between B and we need a comma. So it should be A, B, and C. If we don't put this comma here, like I remove that, I will read it as A, B, and C, which means B and C are almost the same. So make sure that you use the correct punctuation. You don't need a full address on the top these days, because the full address was for the time that you faxed your resume and they send you a mail, normally a rejection mail. But these days, just put the postal code, city, and province, and that suffices. You need 4-line objective on the top with value. So between, let me write it, let me explain it here. Between Okay. Between your contact information, here is the place for the objective. Okay, so you need 4-line objective to introduce yourself to the hiring manager. Then if for any reason you have been switching jobs, and you can make that, like, you can merge a couple of positions together, make sure that you show the length of your employment 5 years and more, because anything below 5 years or 4 years, it means that you have been hopping from one position to other position to other position. In a lot of countries, it's a good sign. It shows that you have a lot of techniques, and you can handle a lot of projects, and you are eager to learn. But in Canada, it's negative. If you hold a position less than 4 or 5 years, it means that you cannot, you are not stable. You cannot hold a job for a long time. So be careful about that. And none of the sentences in your resume is a complete sentence, so you don't need a full stop. Okay, so that would be the video number 4 of series of job hunt workshop. These videos are recorded in January 2022, and I will continue my presentation by video number 5. Thank you very much for watching, and see you soon. Thanks.